Minimum number of inches that you find acceptable for a man to have to do scenes with you.
That's the minimum to work with. Like, yeah. You know, I'm pretty.
Hey guys, so we got a pretty spicy one today. This is actually, I think, a pretty old school video featuring some kind of older school stars, but there's actually still quite a lot that can be learned about this. Now, there's some stuff that I really like about this video. There's also some stuff that makes me want to absolutely pull my hair off, but I definitely think it's worth talking about, and hopefully this should be pretty much a quicker video. And also just a disclaimer, like trigger warning in case you're prone to gooning, okay? I know sometimes saying these stars can be a bit triggering. Shouts out to Mia Malkova video.
What's the minimum number of inches that you find acceptable for a man to have to do things with you?
I don't know in inches. I have small hands, so I kind of like do it by how many hands. And I would say from the base to the head, I would say four of my hands in the head. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the head. It could be, let me see, 1, 2, 3 in the head would work too, but 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in the head would be much better.
On the one hand, I'm very pleased that she wasn't like, they have to be 12 inches, okay? Because that is just irrational and nonsense. So instead she was like, okay, well, let me use my hands, okay? And so it's got to be like 1, 2, 3. And if you actually watch the first time, she goes like 1, moves her hand down, 2. And so the point is she's actually using a hand, like a standard unit of measurement to say, I prefer this many hands. But that's where the compliments start, guys, because just like that, it's time for another Hink's reality check. All right, guys, so on average, the breadth, meaning like how basically long this area is of a woman is right at about 3 inches on average, okay? This chick is not average. She's about 4'11", so she is very small. Let's just give her the benefit and be on the smaller side and say that it's about 2.5 inches as a distance from here to here. That 1, 2, 3, 4, that would mean 10 inches of shaft length, okay? On top of that, she says 4 plus the head. I don't have a stat for this, guys, but looking at some of my measurements, the glans is somewhere between at least 1 to 2 inches. So let's just say 1.5 inches long, okay? So she's saying that her minimum to work with is about 11.5 inches. Does that make sense to you guys? In any reality, does that make sense? Well, if you actually think about girl inches, like, oh, well, Brickzilla's 13 inches. Like, no, guys, that's not reality, okay? So, guys, I've made videos about Dread. I've made videos about Johnny Sins. But so even Dread, one of the biggest of the big guys, is maybe 9 inches bone pressed. Like maybe. He's right there. The biggest that I've ever seen, Julio Gomez, and he's about 9.5 inches bone pressed. That's the biggest in the industry that I've ever seen. And she is saying that she needs 1.5 inches bigger than the biggest in the industry is the minimum for her. That just doesn't make sense, guys. Here's a chart. Now, some of you left in the comments, oh, I don't know about that chart, Hink. That math isn't mathing. Don't do the voice. The chances of having a penis that's even 9.5 inches long is essentially statistically impossible. It's not 0, but it's near statistically 0. We're talking like 1 in several billion. Now, speaking of this chart, guys, let's break it down, okay? Because I don't think a lot of guys actually understand what this math actually maths to. So if you look on the chart where it says, let's just say 7 inches or above, it's saying 1 in about 50 guys is 7 inches or above. That means, accounting for a population of about 4 billion people, that there are about 80 million men that are 7 inches or bigger, guys. Does that sound like a small number of guys to you? No, okay? And quite honestly, guys, in some of these like more Asian countries, the average size is a little bit smaller. That size is probably gonna have a higher population density in the Western like side of things. It's really not that uncommon. 80 million men, especially when you think about like men of actual, let's say men between the age of like 20 and 40 that are being active. But anyways, so guys, then when you look at 7.5 inches or bigger, there's still 8 million men in the world, okay? According to this data set, which is the Am I Normal study, which I've quoted so many times. But that's not like, oh my God, that's impossible. Nobody has that. No, there's still 8 million effing men that have a D size that big. It's only when you start getting into like the 8 inches or bigger, because that proportionally, the chances of having a D that's about 8 inches or bigger, there's about 8,000 men, in the world that actually have a D size that big. Once again, concentrated at some of like, depending on your geographic location. But we're not saying it's impossible. But guys, statistically, it is very rare to be that big. That's why a lot of these adult stars that are 8, 8.5, and heaven forbid even 9 inches are the biggest of the big, okay? So this chick is either lying for clout and just being like, oh yeah, 4 inches, that's what I need, derp a derp, or she has like 1.5-inch hands. Okay, I mean like hand breadth. That's the only two explanations, because that just doesn't make sense any other way.
3 to 4 hands in the head.
Right.
What are you?
Like that's the minimum to work with. Like I'm pretty like flexible. First, is not as big as Pinky's. She requires more length because her is so much bigger. She's right. Like if you have a big ass, you need to be by a bigger, because the guy has to come at like a weird angle and he needs that extra length to like go around.
So guys, she brings up a very good point here. Okay, like guys, if you want to feel that you are as big as possible, number one, you should be as lean as possible. I talk about that all the time. No, I'm not fat shaming. I'm just saying the leaner you are, the bigger your penis is going to look proportionally. That is just a fact, okay? I'm not debating anybody about the merits of obesity. Number two, you want to date a very petite girl as well, because the smaller that woman is in both, honestly, height and weight, the larger proportionally your D is going to look. And so even like with me and my girl, like depending on her weight, which, obviously can fluctuate depending on what we're going through, blah, blah, blah. But like when she is very, very lean, I'm like, whoa, I look gigantic. Versus when she's not as lean, I'm still like, damn, I'm pretty solid. I'm not humble bragging here. I'm just saying there is definitely a notable difference based on her actual body habitus. And guys, the other thing I've talked about in my like female anatomy video is this paper here actually did MRIs of many different women. And believe it or not, you have a longer vaginal canal with the more body weight you have. So there's actually science backing up that fat chicks have larger vaginas, basically, is what I'm saying.
Not as big as Pinky's. Probably like, 2 hands is good. Yeah. 2 hands is all right.
2 hands in the head?
Yeah, 2 hands in the head. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, like this chick actually has some freaking common sense. So she's saying 2 hands in the head. Let's just say she has average hands. That's about 3 inches. So she's saying that her 2 hands together would be 3 inches, 3 inches. That's 6 inches. 6-inch ribbon curls.
6-inch ribbon curls, honey.
That's impossible.
6 inches.
Plus the head is about another inch to another 1.5 inches. So we're talking about 7.5 inches would be her preferred size. Now, guys, you have to understand, this is not like hand breadth to hand breadth. Depending on how you grip and how you maneuver your hands and how you fit them, this doesn't necessarily mean it's definitely 6 inches, especially depending on like how far down you press. And also, guys, when you are using your, like a lot of these chicks that are measuring using their hand, they are actually like pressing into the pubic bone. So it is more like a bone pressed length. And sometimes, like in that infamous like Drake video where he places his hand is all the way down, like actually pushing his testicles down. And so it's not even like the full, especially lying back on his back, like it's measuring way far down than it should be, than is actually accurate if you were to just like stand up and put your hands on there. You can be fooled with this, but this is actually a rational take. And just so you know, guys, Johnny Sins, one of the legends of the industry, is 7 inches non-bone pressed verified. At most, we're talking about 7.5 inches bone pressed. Yes, that is a very reasonable take to be an adult star and have a D that size. For you guys that just can't fathom the fact that these guys aren't 13 inches.
First of all, that's the wrong forum to be approaching me in. Like, and sending me even if I was hiring, even if I was like, send me pictures, I don't want to see a pic. I want to see a full body pic, and I want to see a picture of you standing there with your hard, and so I can compare it to something. Like you can't just have a picture of your. For example, Mandingo. Mandingo's is very large, but it looks even larger because he's a short guy.
Right.
So like, I need to see like the whole situation. If we're really talking about hiring and you just don't want to, I think a lot of guys just want to show you that. Like I think they're just like, look at my junk and this is a good excuse to show you. But honestly, if you're really trying to apply for, like I don't want to see a picture of your, I need to see like the whole shenanigans.
For the love of God, like never send an unsolicited pic to a woman. That's just poor form and in some like locations actually illegal. So don't do that. Women don't want to see that. Guys, I actually made a video of like using science to actually identify like what women want to see as far as what they actually find aesthetically pleasing in a PP. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out. She makes some very valid points here. And so this is part of the reason why I say it's so important to be like lean in general, because especially in this case, when she's trying to see how you like measure up, she's seeing how your proportionally looks to the rest of your body. That's why you really don't see many obese or even overweight adult stars. Almost all of them are either very skinny or they're basically jacked and peeled. There's very few that have a significant amount of body fat. And the reason for that is because it looks more aesthetically pleasing. The smaller the rest of your body is, the larger your PP is going to look. And that's why also a lot of these adult stars are on the shorter side rather than being on the very tall side. And guys, I made a whole video about the proportions that actually make your D look big. And so if you're interested, like, check out that video. I loved making that video, but nobody watched it. So you should definitely check it out. And I also agree with the point you made is about, like, some guys just want to show off their junk because, guys, I do like coaching for both enlargement and injuries through my Patreon, patreon.com/docking. But the point is that some of these guys, I swear they just want to be clients so they can show me pictures of their D. And I hate it. And I've actually had to block some people because I've been like, bro, like, if you have a clinical question, you can send me this. I do not want to see your D in a pump or anything like that. So I actually feel for her in that regard. So guys, just don't be creeps, okay? Just don't do that. And guys, if you are insecure about the size of your pee-pee, okay, your penis, for those that don't like when I say pee-pee, I actually published my Hink trial video and I actually have my Hink trial paper published where you can see. The link is going to be in the description of this video. But using the techniques that I talk about, I proved that 7 guys on average gained about a 1/2 inch in length and a 1/4 inch in girth in 6 months with verifiable photos that you can see for yourself. So you don't have to just take my word for it or believe any of these guys, oh, trust me, bro, I didn't take pictures, but just trust. No, there's verifiable proof that you can look for yourself. So if you're interested, check that out if you're interested in getting bigger, okay? But guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know what you think. Am I way off? Am I just an idiot when it comes to this? Is this actually making sense to you? And are these like real size statistics like finally starting to set in and you can see how that industry just tries to lie to you and manipulate you about feeling insecure about yourself and building these other guys up to make them seem larger than life? Please take a second to like this video before you bounce. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. But guys, just remember, okay, you're so much more than the size of your D. Be the best version of yourself. There's nothing wrong with self-improvement, but you are enough just as you are. All right, guys, peace and love.
Dr. Hink got the plug on the health, yeah. Got you thinking about your wealth, yeah. In his office, no stealth, yeah. Pinnacle of that below the belt, yeah. Checks and balance, he's managing. Working miracles, no damage. Got you covered, no panicking. Steady calm. In the clinic, no vanishing. Yeah, with Doc Hink, it's the way back.